The one and only Shankar Chugani, guys. Come on, clap it up.
Another round of applause for Arnav Rao and Kelshresh, guys. Come on, one more time, please. We sold out. Oh my God. Wow. Where were you all these years? Been waiting for you guys. Oh man, I love making a crowd laugh. Thank you guys. You guys are great. But I hate tall people from the bottom of my heart. Especially if the bottom of their heart is above the top of my head. 6'3", 6'4". When you see them at a restaurant and they get up, they keep getting up. I'll take another bite, they're still not done getting up. I'm like, how much of you is there? I am 5'4" on a good day, okay? I once lied about my height on a dating app. I made myself 2 inches taller, height-wise. I went on the date and I realized that we both lied about our heights, but in opposite directions. She was 5'11". I couldn't flirt with her. I walked in, my eyes were straight. She's like, hello, my eyes are up here. Sorry, don't mind, my eyes are down here. But once we sat down, I could flirt more comfortably. I made her blush, I made her laugh. I did the entire speech from Al Pacino's movie, Scent of a Woman, for her. She said, you're so passionate. If you were 4 inches taller, I'd marry you. I'm like, can you please tell me what to do with that information? Who do I go and brag to? Good luck with your future. I was about to leave. She said, no, I still want to see you again, but only in private. Can't be seen with you in public. Because people will think I'm a single mother. Can you imagine both of us shopping? She's like, what do you want? I want like that. And I'm like, you itself take, no? Honestly, if taller women want one reason to date shorter guys, I have that reason. If you end up having sex standing up, everything aligns so perfectly well. You don't struggle at all. Tall guys have to do this. I can just walk into pleasure. Do you understand how amazing that is? I've been jealous of tall guys my entire life. Okay, in college, I got the most jealous because there I saw tall guys that have guns on either side of their arms. You know, the kind of guys that grunt involuntarily. You ask them, what you have for breakfast? Hi! Anda! Some guys will flex and keep their elbow on my head. I'll be like, bro. They participate in fashion shows whenever they want. I never participate because I know the host won't waste the time. He'll be like, we have contestant number 1, 2, 3.5. So I didn't go. But one college event, only 2 guys were competing. Okay, both of them on stage, 6'3", 6'4". They were waiting for the third guy, but he didn't show up. And I saw on the board, third place was $500. So I ran backstage. I said, ma'am, Hindustan Arts and Science, Shankar Chugani. She said, he has to be here in 2 minutes. I'm like, I am Shankar Chugani, ma'am. She's like, you, fashion show? Go. I walked on stage to 3,000 people in the crowd who stopped clapping at the same time. All of them together. It took 10 seconds for both the other contestants to realize that I was their competitor and I didn't just bring water on stage for both of them. Both of them were like, well, oh, hi. They gave me the mic, they said, tell us something about yourself. I said, guys, I'm here for third place. The real contestants are right here. May the best man win between both of you. And I raised my hands to their face. Photographer took a photo and blew it up on the projector. And the host said, ladies and gentlemen, the letter M. I was a fucking middle stick to the letter M. Final question of the competition was asked to me. The judge said, Mr. Shankar Chugani, if you were to meet Aishwarya Rai and Abdul Kalam on the same day, who will you meet first and why? So thank you so much for that question. It has changed my life. I would meet Abdul Kalam first because he's such a bright mind. Spending a few hours with him would be life-changing. Same judge turned around into 3,000 guys. He said, he's lying on stage. He's a liar. And you're not going to do anything? They all started booing me. Boo! Boo! These were college kids with good lungs. Their booing was overwhelming. I started sweating. I said the first thought that came to mind. I said, sir, you don't understand. I'll spend the daytime with Abdul Kalam. Some of you have aged well. College kids with the juvenile, the same movement to, yeah! They did a U-turn. Competition got over. Judge came on stage and he said, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say this. The competition was surprisingly close. I couldn't believe it. He said, everybody put your hands together for a well-deserving second runner-up spot, winning 500 rupees. And he shook hands with the guy on my right. Then he said, your first runner-up for 2,500 rupees. And he shook hands with the guy on my left. And then he looked at me and he said, you won the competition. Congratulations. How do you feel? You know, they get a sash, the winners. He threw it on me like a ring on an object. And that sash is only supposed to cover your torso, okay? They didn't alter it for my size. So it was falling down like I was wearing a sari on stage. I said, thank you so much, ladies. That day I learned 3 very important things. Firstly, I beat 2 tall guys in a fashion event. That's why I haven't entered the fashion industry since. Because you should quit while you're ahead. Okay, I went to win 500 bucks. I won 5,000 rupees that day. And for the first time in my life, I realized what tall people feel in restaurants when they get up, because the 2 guys wanted to walk off stage with dignity, so they carried me on their shoulder. So I was at this level, both of them carried me, I was like, whoa. This is your perspective? Wow, guys, thank you so much for this gift. There's a question that I hate that old people ask newly married couples. The question is that love marriage or arranged marriage? I don't know what difference they're looking for. You know what's the worst answer? Is when some guy smiles and says, it's actually love come arranged. And I'm like, is that the order of all 3 things? It's way too much information, no? For the people who didn't get the joke, I'll give you another clue. Our ancestors in India had one common theme. It was arranged, come wah, come wah, come wah, come wah, come wah. Our generation is different. On dating apps, to fall in love, come no. That's the whole thing. I also think how recently you apologized to anybody says a lot about you. If you ask someone when was the last time you apologized, if they say pre-pandemic, run. You should not be friends with these people. Essentially, I think there are 2 kinds of people. One who will say sorry when it's not even our fault. Some comic will be sitting on my scooty after the show, smoking, talking to his friends. And before I start my own scooty, I have to be like, sorry, can you please? Sorry. Then when I'm riding, I'm all like, why am I apologizing, man? My scooty. Then there are people who never apologize. These people also love grunting in arguments. You ask them, hey man, instead of 8 o'clock, we leave at 7 o'clock. A cousin did this to me, my age. He said, I'm like, back to you. Come back with words. If you tell them, hey man, I think what happened was messed up, I think you should apologize, they'll start, why should I? Why should I? Why should I? Even when they say apology, it's not in that tone. I'm sorry, okay? For everything, I'm sorry. My fault. I'm sorry. No, I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. This joke is not getting funnier, no? I apologize, okay? I'm really, really sorry. Please forgive me. I grew up with a father I respect. I like saying that sometimes. And the day my father found out I am going to be a stand-up comic, he got a shirt made for me. And I'm wearing that shirt today. People watching online, he's all like, what comedy is he doing? Funny to say, just wear this and go. And you have some approving. They're all like, wow, that's the biggest applause I got before I was on. But I respect my dad for one reason. He actually has the world record of being a boxing referee for the longest known domestic abuse match between his mother and his wife. 35 years. I'll paint you the picture, okay? Imagine a referee in a boxing ring with 2 fighters. Referee loves both the fighters. And it's hurting him that they're fighting with each other. So, just to keep peace, he holds both their hands, makes them stand next to each other so they can't reach each other. Out of frustration, both the fighters beat the referee up. 35 years, my grandmother will be like, your wife no. My own mom will be like, your mother no. In slow motion, if you see my dad's face, he'll be like, peace at last. Thank God. You guys keep saying, I'm not going to pass the information. Fight will stop. This is way better. I was his little f***ing coach. After every night, I'll make him a drink. I'll be like, Dad, here's your whiskey. Come on. Tomorrow another fight. Let's go. Have you seen someone smoking when their hands are busy? For 35 years, my dad has been like... He's under so much stress that when he finishes and I'm like, Dad. Dad's like, thank you, Shanky. Watching my dad drink and smoke made me realize that people who drink and smoke are making full use of all their organs to get through life. The ones who never do it are barely using the surface of their liver. One of the kidneys is not even opened yet. They're saving it for old age. My dad understood very early that if I have to make it till old age, I have to damage all the other organs as much as my heart. Otherwise, all the organs will be fine. At 50, my heart will be like... Can't do that shit. I got an invitation when I was a child to a birthday party where they said you can only come in if you have a perishable gift. In brackets, anything that goes bad or expires. And I had nothing like that at home. So I took my grandma along with me. It's the most perishable thing I had. I asked her, Dadima, let's go have cake one last time. Kidding, my grandma has no gift. She hates me, she hates my mom, which I think is the universal unifying thing across India. No matter what problems going on outside, grandma hates mom in every state. Isn't that true, guys? Why the f*** are all of you looking at me like, no man, my Dadima loves my mom. She never says kulta, never says that ever in her life. My grandmom is member of a Coonoor club. I'm from Coonoor, prestigious club. It's not a club where grandma is like, not that kind of club. She plays cards with her friends. And when she gets to invite family over for dinner to her son, she'll be like, in brackets, she'll write in the invitation, not your wife. My dad would tear the invitation, come home, on the phone with his mom, he'll be like, yeah, I can't come, kids will come. My mom will look at my dad like, go. My dad's like, no. He's still holding both of them at one arm distance. He's like, I got this. And then he'll tell both his kids, go tell your grandma you love her. Doesn't matter if it's not true. First time me and my brother went to this Coonoor club. Nice, beautiful chandelier. What landscape, what colors, art, beautiful. As soon as we walked in, I looked at the chandelier, my brother's like, don't look, you can't enjoy this. Mom is not invited, don't enjoy this. They called us to play shuttle, a couple of guys. They're like, no, don't. So 2 kids at 8 and 9 are walking into Coonoor club like a mission to not enjoy anything. That is the food. We almost did like a reset. We were like, we love our grandma. Where is Gobi Manchurian? Went touched everybody's seat, sat down. First time my brother ate Gobi Manchurian in his life. He was like, this you can enjoy. It's delicious. We're going to eat it anyways. Why not? 25 years, mother was never invited. Until about a couple of years ago, Coonoor Club called me and they said, so, we hear you're a stand-up comedian. We want you to come and perform for our Diwali party. There are 180 people in our guest list. We'll pay you 5 lakh rupees. They didn't actually pay me 5 lakh rupees. I just like saying it. They said, sir, do you have any question? I said, yes, I have a question for you. Is my mother invited now? Huh? Can she come to your club? They were like, yes, sir, don't get angry. We'll send a car. Mom came for the first time to Coonoor Club for my show. Sat down in the front row. Dad is sitting next to my mom, grandma is sitting on the other side. I thought my mom will have some humility, some decency. But the moment she sat down, she looked at my grandma, she's like, what are you going to do now, bitch? Huh? I'm here. That's from my uterus, okay? My grandma is sitting like middle class behavior. My dad is like, hey, don't start fighting. I didn't hear a bell. Please don't start the fight in the club. Calm down, both of you, chill. I start telling my jokes to the crowd and it's going really well. But halfway through, I realize my grandma's gotten emotional and she starts crying. I don't even see it, I hear it. I hear, ha ha. She got emotional, mom, she also got emotional. So I hear, And from the stage, I was like, ladies, this is a comedy show. Security, throw both the crying women out right now. After being invited after 25 years, within 25 minutes, I itself threw my mom outside. As a comedian, I was really, really proud. My dad was like, no need security. He lifted both the women and he walked outside. He's like, let's fight. He took them outside. And my dad, you see the sense of humor, no? Me and my brother, when we were kids, my dad used to call his 2 kids fucklings. He made ugly ducklings into one word. I finished the show at the club. Dad is standing, smoking, smiling away, laughing almost. Mom and grandma were standing in one corner, holding each other, crying. I walked up to my dad. I was like, did you like the show? He's like, yeah, not bad for a fuckling. But listen, I'm really, really proud of you for another reason. In 35 years, not once have I got both these women to cry at the same time. Really, really well done. But I think it's time for you to go console them. Go and stop them from crying. I'm like, Dad, how? He's like, wait, your turn. I love talking with my hands. You know, like, hey man, let's go here, buy a football, and then we'll go get a drink, and then we'll... But some people really talk with their hands, no? I'm talking. Do you know people in your life that have this habit? I have a bunch of relatives that have this habit. Nobody sitting here will ever find out if you were slapped as a baby. Does anybody here know stories that their parents like, I slapped you? And I'm not even saying the baby did something stupid or something, dangerous. 2 adults having an argument and they can't beat each other because domestic cases will rise. So out of frustration, they're like, I told you not to drink and come. You have to be there by 8 o'clock. Possible. I found my mom's secret stash of her diaries. And I opened them, and the first thing I realized, you should never read your mother's diaries without her permission. I found out that as a baby, I was slapped by every family member, at least once. And I was like, Mom, what is this group activity? How did you allow this? She's like, I started it. She told me I was born with a hole in my heart, and I would get seizures as a baby, I would freeze. So every family member was informed that if you see Shanky and he's not moving, don't hesitate. But I got to know my relatives as an adult, and I know some of them are such assholes that at least once there was no seizure. They just didn't have alcohol at home. Business is going down, so something to do before they sleep. They were like, check if someone is coming. Today my turn, okay? Go check. One guy is checking your seizure like, I saved him. He's alive. Got a little sad, no? No? You know what's even more sad? I read my mom's diaries. My older brother has no heart condition at birth, but he was being slapped for 16 pages in a row. 16 pages. He's 1.5 years older than me. I realized that I was conceived in those 16 pages. That means baby is being slapped in the night, mother is... Oh. And the reason why he was being slapped is there was one alcoholic uncle who wants to have his drink, and if my brother cries as a baby out of hunger or anything, he'll be like, hey, and he'll go slap him. Such a counterproductive thing to do, slapping an already crying baby. What did my uncle think? The baby was going to be like, wah, wah. Silence, you say? Alright. I think my brother developed a bunch of holes in his heart from all the slapping. I have trash relatives and people in my life that are trash. Do you guys have trash people in your life? Yeah. It's good to call people trash, no? But I segregate them whether they are wet waste or dry waste. This infant slapping uncle is wet waste. You know why? Because the moment I put him in the soil, my environment will get better. Ironically, his name is not Chugani. Okay, so when you guys laugh at the joke that I made about my brother being slapped, in my heart I'm all like, Yahoo! I know, I made a little sad. I apologize once again. Alright? Properly. Some people get the joke, other people are like, yeah, you better apologize. How dare you waste our time? I'm not just a stand-up comic, I'm also a Bollywood actor. No faith in the room. home. Wow! Now, how dare you? Not one guy was like, yeah, everybody's all like, I've given an audition, and if it goes well, then in September I will shoot a movie with. It's false, guys. It's a lie. I just want to test you. If you give me faith, you were waiting for the name. The moment I dropped the name, you're all like, whoa, not bad. My debut movie, I hope some of you have seen. Clap your hands if you've seen Sons. The joke that I'm going to do is just for the people who clapped. The remaining people, show's over, you guys can leave. Sons were shot in Coonoor. Okay, 40 actors, crew members came up to Coonoor, and they kept an audition to select young, talented, good-looking people to walk in the background for a birthday party scene. That was my debut and my final movie. Alright? First of all, Coonoor is such a small town, all 40 of us knew each other. We showed up in one van, and the crew was surprised that we are more coordinated than them. They were like, you want to come to Bombay? You'll make a lot of money. Okay, I was wearing something as flamboyant as what I'm wearing right now, and I had a drink in my hand, and there were some people next to us, not from Coonoor, but extras who've come from Bombay to be in the background. The director told us, these are special extras because we are shooting a rich party scene. And I felt so bad for them. Because their job profile is like, look successful. Don't get there, look successful. That's it. These guys in the background are all like, paisa hai mere paas. So I was in one corner. The moment the director said action, I was all like, I think this is how rich people are, I don't know. I crossed the frame all the way to the end, kept my drink down, waiting for the next shot. Assistant director was like, go back. I said, I just came from that side. If I go back, people will think I'm some idiot, lost in the background. Give me one good reason to go back. He said, I won't pay you. Good reason. I had to walk back and forth for 5 days, doing cardio for entertainment. Just like. So after 4 hours on the first day, I started changing my expression in the background. Because that's the only way I was going to get through the 5 days. So the moment the director said action, I was all like. I'm not even kidding. If you watch, for instance, the first time the main 3 characters meet each other happens at the party. Says, I'm going to get a drink, and he leaves. Other 2 actors don't have a dialogue, but the camera pans, and there's a dumb guy in the background going. That's my debut in Bollywood. Sons, you guys don't have to go and watch the movie to make sure that I'm telling the truth for this at least, okay? I know you guys are busy. 1 hour 49 seconds is the exact point when I start walking. I want to become famous enough that enough people go and just start from 1 hour 49 seconds. So even the people working in Prime in the algorithm, they're all like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is this only spiking? One last thing that I'll ask all the women in the crowd before I wrap it up. Women in the crowd, could you give me a cheer, please? I know you're tired. But I want to ask, are periods always painful? Yeah. See, I will never know what that pain is like. I just know it must be uncomfortable. And this became very clear when this infant slapping uncle at one party was like, do you guys have any idea what women go through on their periods? And I was like, how do you know? What is this new app you've downloaded? Flow.com? No, most men don't know it's an actual app. They're giving me the look like nice wordplay. Flow.com. Idiots. That night I went home and celebrated the fact that I don't have periods. I'm not going to rub it in your faces. Okay, I'm just like, life is already hard. I'm glad there's not one more thing that I have to deal with on a monthly basis that involves blood. I pay rent monthly. That itself is painful enough. I'm so glad. But women, I think, because of how you're built, you can tell the passage of time way better than men, no? Like, you know when a month is about to get over, no? You can feel it. You have an internal irrigation system that keeps you connected with the moon. Moon does one cycle, they do one cycle. It's fucking crazy. If men and women were living in 2 separate islands, women will know when we did one chakra around the sun. They'll know when is the right time to put seeds, water, everything. Men, we'll look at time like our beards. We'll be like, huh? 4 days or 28 weeks, I don't know. Something in between. That's why I think women, in the cave times when we first started objectifying women, the first thing we objectified them as was a calendar. We started looking at women as calendars. The moment a woman starts bleeding, one guy is like, Naya mahina shuru ho gaya. Is it true that when you live together, your periods sink?
No.
No, it's a myth?
No.
It's true? It's happened to some, it's not happened to some. Some women are like, shut up, it's not happened. If it happens, then that's calibration of the calendar. Just rightly done. I mean, one guy is like, Naya mahina, like, Naya mahina, Naya mahina, Naya, 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 Naya. I think before we could tell time, men would use women's periods to mark important dates. Or if they have to leave for war, to coordinate, the chief of the tribe will be like, in 3 days, in 4 days, we will leave for blood. After 4 days, the chief is like, and the entire battalion will leave smelling like war and go and fight, except for one guy. Because his woman had PCOS, he had no idea. Thank you so much for watching my show, guys. Back to your host, Arnav Rao.
Yo, make some noise for Shankar Chugani, guys. Come on, come on.